Hi, everybody out in YouTube land. What's good tonight? Oh, wait, hey, you guys. Oh, what's good tonight? Let's see. Let's see if I can stop my video from playing. There, it worked. I did it. Okay. I need a theme song. Okay, how about I'm about to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Hope I get away with it. Doo-dah. that can be my theme song. Yeah, not going on camera tonight. No. That's why I almost vetoed the whole thing. I really did. It's like, well, I can just go on anyway and be in the dark, just like we all are, sitting in the stupid dark with this, getting just, breadcrumbs tossed at us. Okay. Oh, let me pull up everybody so I can see the chat. Hi, Huli. Hi, JK Pioneer. Hi, Albert Camus. And then INFJ's here again. Nice to see ya. Lori James, no face tonight. You guys can just imagine how lovely, ravishing I am this evening. And who else? Wanderer MT. Hello, Richard Rutherford. There's Richard Gadalkan. Hi, Gadalkan. How you doing? And there's Nomadic Madman. I stay camera when I can. Stay off of camera. Hi, Winston. Good to see you, Winston. Dirk. Jeep Girl Jody. Oh, good. All the usual suspects and then some. Thanks for joining me tonight because I've got, here, I'm pulling up. Now it's really bad because you guys really can't see what I'm up to, but I'm pulling you up on my other computer so I can see the chat. I just cracked open one of them Budweiser 55s, some Budweiser water. I suggest Susie Q by CCR. No, Sledneck. No, do you not know? Oh, I can tolerate that one though. But ugh, I hate music. I have to make up my own music, my own theme songs. Or new music is fine. New music is always fine. Let's just go with that. Old music sucks. Oh my God. I hate it so much. 70s, 80s, 90s music. You want to create some cruel and unusual punishment? There you go. That would be it. Country music. Oh my God. Yeah, I got ruined. I'm wrecked. Why are we talking about me? Oh yeah, because Susie Q. Fine. Oh, hi, Davi B. Yeah, there's Budweiser 55. Breaking news. Really, no music. These people. I know. I'll rage quit, and that's what will have to happen. How do we hate an art form? Oh, I used to love an art form, and I used to love dancing. Seriously, that was a different life before it was ruined. Music has been ruined for me forever. So it's just like, it's, can you imagine being tortured by that? Your music is ruined and you can't deal with it. It's horrible. And it's everywhere you go and it's all day, every day, and deflecting from it or recovering from hearing it or, and the damn TV is always blaring some stupid song, like some commercial. Oh my God. I know I'm not right. And it's true. It's called a disability, man. For realsies. for realsies. Who else is here? Oh, there's King has entered the room. Imagine me bowing to you right now, Sir King, because I really did. Oh, is Vertigo in here? I'm gonna have to tell him to imagine the Vertigo. There's Angeline Jolie. How you doing? Alan K. You know what I did? Brian Gates. Hi, Brian Gates. How you doing? Yeah, let's get, I gotta steer the ship. Imagine me right now, steering the big ship. Oh, off we go, you guys. Let's get into the calm waters. Let's talk about, oh yeah, Alan K. I saw your name. You know what I did? I watched that, what is that guy's name? His name is Gates too, but it's something else. Josh Gates, that guy. And I will get it. Expeditions Unknown. So I went back and dug up the Forrest Fenn treasure hunt Expedition Unknown episode to watch again. That was from, it was from 2015 is the date. That's, it's season 2, 2015. So, but anyway, while I was looking through all that, one of the Expedition Unknown episodes was about DB Cooper. So when I got done watching the Forrest Fenn one, I turned on the DB Cooper one and see what I could see about that. And one thing, just to get some details of, hey, have you guys seen that? Oh God. So DB Cooper, why I don't think, I ruled out that no way is Forrest DB Cooper, and I don't, and Skippy, I'm ruling him out too. But I don't know. Skippy's still on. I know he could still be, but I don't. I mean, it's just a silly concept, but I know that's a real. But DB Cooper smoked 8 cigarettes while he was up there doing his hijacking thing. And although the cigarette butts have since disappeared out of the evidence room or whatever, so they can't get the DNA off it or all that. I don't think Forrest Fenn was ever a smoker, ever. And so I think, so that one was like, oh, I can't. Nope, Forrest Fenn is not going up there to smoke 8 cigarettes. And he's not even going to do it as a pretend thing, because you would get sick, dizzy. Like if you weren't a real smoker and tried to smoke 8 cigarettes in a panic thing like that, you'd puke. So anyway, I ruled out DB Cooper. Hi, Doug. I came on anyway, but it is exhausting. It is exhausting. Mentally trying to paint this picture of what has happened, what is happening, and what is going to be in the future. It's just like trying to figure out what the hell. And we get little bits and pieces because it's like, oh, there's Chase and Indy. Hi, Indy. I just looked over. I just remembered when it was normal to smoke on a plane. Isn't that weird? I remember my very first airplane ride, for sure. I don't know if after that, but people could still smoke on the airplanes when I rode on the airplane for the first time. And it was just like, yep, once you got to a certain altitude, then everyone's like, the smoking light came on and everyone had a little built-in ashtray on the side of their, oh, that's just like so absurd to think of now. But anyway, Um, it sounds like a perfect good smoke screen, says Alan. But you would puke. I'm serious. You couldn't. I don't. You would have to practice smoking. Um, I think they have D.B. Cooper's DNA from his tie. What they did find out from his tie, I saw on that show, is that they think he worked for made those, what are they, cathode ray tubes, or something like that. The tubes that used to go in those old TVs and maybe radios, I don't know. But there was so much of that chemical or element, which is a rare earth element, on that tie, that tie had to have been worn in a manufacturing setting of those two, So I don't know. I bet. Okay, Hooli says, I bet solving the DB Cooper jacking is easier to solve than the Fen jacking. I bet you're right.
Here are some results from.
Uh-oh. All of a sudden, that was my phone. All of a sudden, Google is chiming in, giving me results about DB Cooper. It heard me talking about it, and it got, oh, here's your results for DB Cooper. Oh my God. My phone is listening. Cathode ray tubes. Yeah. By radar specialist. That's what they said. That's what that Josh Gates they came up with. Anywho, but I wouldn't have ever probably clicked on that if it wasn't for the Forest Fund treasure or knowing what we know, and then Douglas Preston's new book with the mention of DB Cooper and the rest of the kerfuffle. But yeah, there's a lot of, there's a lot of frustration going on in the Fenniverse, isn't there, people? It's just driving us all mad. We've all gone mad. But you know what else I was listening to were old Dan Barbarisi, the Chasing the Thrill. He did several different interviews about that book, and I listened to a couple things. I listened to the one where he was on that geocaching channel. Oh, excuse me. I listened to that one, and what he was saying on there, or what those geocache guys were talking about, was this one geocache. It's like a famous one, or I don't know how famous amongst the geocachers, where it was not a monetary thing. It was just finding the tube. The geocache was the prize, and it was nothing. It was no monetary value. It was just the game of finding it, right? And everybody knew, all these people knew the exact location of where it was, but it was at some kind of shelter or pavilion or something like that. And so people would actually camp out there and hold parties looking for this thing. And every time somebody couldn't find it, it just made it all worse. Everyone was like, it doesn't exist, or what, blah, it got to be this whatever. And then finally it was found, and people were, but their point was there was no monetary value associated with finding this thing. And people were freaked out and outraged and having cows about it. And there you go. Now throw in the twisted plot that there was life-changing consequences to the ending, and then add that. And Dan Barbarisi, one thing that I'm confident in him as he understands this game of the chase and the frustrations and the how people are gonna be lipid and psycho and never ever ever unless the solved. And it needs to be like, for me, I don't give a shit about the location. I don't care. You know what, I already see it coming. What's happening, I'm guessing, this is my guess, is the people that are filming up in Yellowstone are trying to prove a location by doing these soil samples of, oh, there had to have been bronze here. I don't care the soil samples that they do if they prove that there was bronze sitting at that spot. That's not gonna do it. It's like making a mockery of it by doing it that way. It's like, that's not gonna be, that's all for show. It's all for show, and that is painful. They're doing it all for the show of this all. And that's, if that's why we're being strung like this, and it is because of, oh, that just makes me sick to my stomach to think about that. It's just so shallow and horrible. But where were we? Yeah, finding, telling me that they proved that there was a bronze chest sitting somewhere when they actually took a fake bronze chest somewhere out in the woods somewhere and took a photo of it. And then what? Then they're going to bring in the experts and then prove if there was a bronze chest sitting on top of that dirt. I mean, and then go, oh, look, there's proof. I mean, come on. It's just not, I can see this coming already. Like, we're going to wait 2 years to find out this great documentary that's coming out, and it's going to have the stupid GPS solve that is just like insulting to real searchers and the intelligence of the real searcher community. And you know, gonna have, that's gonna be a part of it, that's gonna be a part, and then it's like, oh no, and then it's gonna be Cynthia coming back and showing that how this is why nobody's ever gonna find out the real location is because, look, somebody put a bunch of stupid Mardi Gras beads on this log. Oh my God, it's just, either I have too big of an imagination or I'm too smart. Can't figure it out. Somebody tell me. Please tell me. Oh my God. And so then they film all that, and then they're, oh, there's your proof of, you know, oh my God. And so now they're going, and so it's like, after all this time, we're going to end up with this bunch of smoke blowing up our ass is what's going to be. I hope not. And it's not like these guys, and it's not like I have any ill, I mean, those guys, I do have respect for those guys that are doing that are up there, and they get to play this game, you know, and they get to, you know, do it and have a film crew follow them around where they're traipsing up and down the Madison River, whatever. Those people are wonderful, actually. All those people I do not have a problem with. I don't. I'm totally jealous, as a matter of fact. I'm totally jealous that they're in a privileged position where they get to play this out. They get to be the actors in this. They get to be the real, you know, the real players in the real game. While we sit in the dark, the rest of us who are not in a privileged position, you know? And so I got to sit here and make shit up, and I hope I get away with it. to the boat to do some sketchy shit. Oh, I didn't even look. I had to walk away for a bit after Ben found the fishing tools. Oh yeah, then there's going to be that part, you know, and you know, all these people that do get to play their roles in this, that's all fine and dandy, you know, but nothing but the solve and knowing where the chest is lands where it's going to be, how this is real. And until that time happens, and it's, I don't know, or what, like, what am I going to do? Or what, Susie? What are you going to do about it? That's it. It's a helpless, hopeless, awful feeling. There's not a damn thing I can do about it, or a damn thing I can say that's going to change anybody's thing about how they're handling it, or what's going on with this, that, or the other. No one gives a rat's patootie. But what I'm, my, or anybody's mental health. I don't think they give a rat's ass about anybody's else's perception of what's happening right now. It's all about, they're focused on, this is how the stories got to unfold. And we don't, damn the real world. We're playing in this is how the story is going to unfold world. In the meantime, we have people melting down, which at first was, kind of like, ugh. And then it was funny. And then it was like, oh my God. And then it was cringy. And then it was, oh my God. And then it was, I'm currently, I like, and then it was, oh my God, I'm sincerely worried. And this is not funny anymore. And I'm like curled up in a ball in the fetal position, watching on my phone, rocking back and forth, going, oh my God, this is not funny anymore. This is horrific. And the accusations and it's coming all from all over. It's not just one person, and their over the top ideas of, or who am I to say over the top, whatever. And whatever the state of mind that this chases in, but that's all Hollywood gold, right? We're all being used for Hollywood gold right here, boy. Watch this, the frustration of the chase. Oh my God. Guess what? Matthew, that mystery Matthew just sent me $50. Let's see what he had to say. Did he leave a note? Oh my God, Matthew, thank you. I know you're listening. You're just a lurker in the background, and I hope you eventually get to learn the spot and walk the clues. Thanks for going live. Oh my God, this is what keeps me going. That keeps me going. Not just, it's just the kind of support. I need to know, and also what else that I know Jack understands too, that he cannot play stupid about, is he was a part of the Blaine treasure hunt. I think he was balls deep in that hunt. I'm not sure, but I do think he was a part of that world, as far as being maybe on social media about it. I don't know what platform, but I think he actually became, was a part of that. And can you imagine when that ended and Sassy found the thing, whatever it was, the golden orb, whatever. And if that's it, if she just walked away and never told anybody where it was found or what the clues meant, if no one was able to, oh my God, that would have been, can you imagine? And so that's what's happening here, except for you take that scale and you blow it up times 10 or by times 20, because this is $2 million, not times, not $100,000 thing. And the reach of this is so much bigger and all that. So it's like, to say that we never get to know how this game was played, what the clues were, where they were, and what the book, and it's like, this is in the book right here, this is what this meant here. There is nothing short of that. that is ever going to make my brain go, okay, I got it. Now I can move on to what? Now I can move on to celebrating for it or going chasing Eric Sloan. Then maybe I can move on to going looking all over the place at all the museums for Eric Sloan paintings or, whatever. Come up with my own, a different thing. But until that, it feels like I'm stuck in the dark. I don't know if I'm mentally able to just shut it off. I know I can't at this point. Otherwise, I would have by now. I wouldn't have pushed the go live button tonight. But here we are. And here I am ignoring the chat. So are you guys. Hi, Stuck in Chaselandia. Boom. I love that name because here it's so true. Sitting in the dark, stuck in Chaselandia. Oh. Oh God, he can't sell it because it's barbs. God, what she needs right now, everybody, is some compassion, man. Oh, because that is no longer funny. It's sad, and a little compassion here is but I don't know how to approach it. I mean, don't ask me how to. A kinder, gentler approach, no matter the weapon, because it's like I understand, I understand that feeling of helpless, powerless, and somebody's pushed your button and you feel helpless and powerless. It's like an overwhelming feeling to protect yourself. It's like a reaction, and so you go into this self-preservation, but ouch. Anyway, you can't turn it off, but you can find a new interest to follow at the same time as you wait for more Forest Fen info. Yeah, you would think. Like the beacon star, I tried. I can't. I can't. I have no interest in it. I don't have. I mean, and not just that. Not just that. The beacon star, but any of them. I have that. What's that other one? That Alice in Wonderland. I've got that book right here. The Hatter's Hat. I haven't even cracked. It's like still. You can still hear the crunch of the pages. Because it's not even cracked. I tried thinking, oh, this one sounds like, no, not interested. I want to figure out what's going on with this one. I think Dan Barbarisi was, he was brought into this in 2017. And I think he was brought into this to write this book, to follow this conclusion. It's got to be, this has got to be orchestrated. So much of this is, and just because we're frustrated doesn't mean it's going to go any faster. I didn't say Beacon Star or any other treasure. I mean, other interests. Oh, right. I can't think of any. Zero, none. I don't have anything. I don't have. No. I can't remember what I did before this. I can't. Yeah, this ruled my life for too many years where I can't, it just can't. And I don't think I'm the only one. I'm just one person with a big mouth. There's other people out there. There are a couple more with big mouths. And so we know their mental mind frame, or we know it because they've told us, whether it be on camera or just on vlogs or blogs, or what do you call the ones in the background? The ones I don't go on, like Christy's website, Hint of Riches. I guess I don't know. There's drama over there all the time. I think I don't do it. I don't go there. I don't look at it, so I'm not sure of it. Oh, Eugene just sent me $20. What does he have to say? Prepare for winter. It's going to get outside. Yeah, there's plenty. I mean, it's not like I don't have a million things I could do. I just have no interest. I lost interest in everything. Like, there's no interest. I have no interest in anything. Barely. My green beans, my tomatoes, flowers. I bought a couple mums. I didn't have any money, but I'm spending like scraping up money to buy flowers. That's the kind of mindset. This is the kind of but we're not here to talk about me, are we? I want to go talk about that just made me want to this made me throw up in my mouth just a little bit. Shit, you guys. But you know what? This is, in my little pathetic life, this is my favorite thing to do. Friday, Fennhaven Friday. Just because you guys are like you're my social, it's like the club, Some people, it's like we're the Forest Friend Club. We're the Forest Friends, right? There's dark. Yeah, we're sitting in the dark tonight. Dark. Because that's what it is. Oh. There's plenty of room for rabbit holes, even if the FBI moved out a few years ago. Yep, there's the DB Cooper rabbit holes. Did Skippy smoke? Somebody get on that. See if we can come up with a picture of Skippy with a cigarette in his hand. They also said they had slick black hair. DB Cooper, the real one, had slicked black hair. Like a support group at an AA meeting. Yes, it is Mark Williams. I'm sure it is. Oh, my name is Susie, and I love Forrest Fenn and Eric Sloan. Please, somebody. Oh, you want to go outside and have a cigarette with me? Cup of coffee. Talk about how I get over 2 ghosts, old men ghosts. Oh, I know. I need to make some art. And I say that every day. There's some building up because I keep talking about it. That's what happens. It's like this thing. It's like on a merry-go-round, and you don't know where the merry-go-round's gonna stop. And that really is. And sometimes it stops on art, and then I need to make a bunch of art, and that I can feel it coming. I can feel it coming. Okay, and I can feel another beer coming on too. Some more Bud water. Yeah, who else is in here tonight? No cigs for Skippy. See, I can't imagine. He was an underwater deep sea diver. You can't be a smoker and a deep sea diver. See, it doesn't make sense. What makes you think Forrest never smoked? I've out of all the pictures I've ever seen of Forrest, I've never seen him with a cigarette in his hand. And back in the day, in the 70s, you took a cigarette, you had them everywhere when you smoked. You were sitting at your desk doing business with a cigarette. People on TV, they went on the Ed Sullivan show. Or what's the other guy? Johnny Carson, whatever. They all, whatever you did, you walked into the post office, you had a cigarette. You walked in the grocery store with a cigarette. There was an ashtray at the end of every aisle. So it's like cigarettes were just everywhere all the time, and there were no boundaries. And so some of those pictures of Forrest Fenn, he would be having a cigarette in his hand, standing around at an art gallery. You just did. But art is where you find it. Too far to walk. Placer nuggets come from riverbeds. See, now there's something I probably could have fun interest in. Looking for gold nuggets and riverbeds. You can smoke 20 cigarettes if you don't inhale. How do you keep it lit if you don't inhale it? They just don't burn. Well, they used to just burn, and then they made it so they just go out automatically if you don't actually suck on it. Oh. Vertigo. Hi, Vertigo. I'm doing the spinny. I just did the spinny hand for you. Hey, there's Buck. Hi, Buck. There's Lucky. I'm considering starting smoking, actually. Hey. Yeah, in the doctor smoked. You smoked at the doctor's office. Oh. More doctors prefer Camels than any other cigarette. Big ad in the magazine. My phone just, oh, you guys. Hang on, I'm checking my. Okay, Ellen just sent me a clip. Can I do a share screen and play this? Time to do some sketchy shit. Hope you get away with it. How do I do it? It would have to be here. And hang on, my computer is kind of slow. I'm asking a lot out of it, so bear with me. Hey, there's X marks the spot. I'm doing the X arms for you. See? Hope I get away with it. Let's see. Okay, so now it just froze. Oh, is it going to do it? The anticipation is killing me. Here we go. Uh, oh, it seems it wants more. It wants attention from me. It wants me to download it and then zip extract it. So there's dinking around involved. But it was a DB Cooper. It's a DB Cooper thing, and I will watch it. Uh, what is Carrie Gal from 1970 to 2008? Calorie intake went up 23.3%. It's no longer smoking that kills kids. It's Doritos and Takis. Sugar. Mm-hmm. But there's a good point. That whole look at the big picture, and then you look on page with the kids all at school is right in the beginning of the book. I don't know what page is that, 20. No, 20 is double X page. Now I gotta look, otherwise I'm not going to be happy. Okay, it's the page 1819. I was close. Yeah, but when you look at those kids in the school picture, there's obviously several different grades. But what you notice is there's no overweight kids here. And they had soda pop. But what they didn't have is so much processed food. I don't know. But anyway, that goes to get your kids off the, we have an obesity problem in this country. Didn't those words come right out of Forrest's mouth? And if the kids just on their summer break from school, if they just went to Yellowstone for 3 months and chopped wood or whatever, Forrest really did have a privileged life. Even though he makes it sound rough. Pretty privileged in my eyes. So I wasn't trying to derail, just wanted you to watch. Well, I know you weren't trying to, I didn't know. Hi, little engine that could. Hi, Tyler. Can I get in? What do you have to say? You want to? I don't know. I mean, it was a depression. No one could afford to eat. It was a horrible period in the big picture of Yellowstone. A cardiologist told me during the Vietnam War, autopsies were done on some of the young kids that were killed there, and a lot of them had up to 30% blocked arteries. No way. Why is that? Because they use lard and butter, real butter, and for the cooking oil. Huh. I think Yellowstone National Park was just, the whole park was warm water salt. I would believe it, because that is the geysers. That's the whole thing. And it's called Yellowstone, for God's sakes. It just seems so obvious. Now, why didn't I think of that? I don't know, Tyler. I'm so tired. But you know what? Yeah. Why don't you come on? Oh, well, I gotta post the link, I suppose. Well, let me get my act together. Uh um there you go. Well, Yellowstone, I know, and I am still not okay, Yellowstone obviously has something to do with it, right? But whether the chest was in or out of the park, I still think it could be on the border of the park. Um, the east entrance, uh, Mommy Joe's cave, that area somewhere before, or who's oh, there is a cabin there. Was it Bill Cody's? Yeah, Buffalo Bill Cody's cabin, right at the entrance area, and like a hotel or motel or something, uh, right before you get into the park's border, you know? I don't know. I need to go see. Okay. Oh, there's Tyler. Hang on, Tyler. There you go. I hope you put your camera on so we can see your beautiful face. So everybody doesn't have to just sit there and look at nothing. Big nothing.
So I've been doing some deep digging research. I guess you can call me lucky because, I've always been lucky as well. I guess you can call me Lucky Decker. So the bigger picture that I'm really surprised nobody caught was his great grandfather was George Ellis Brown. Hence the home of Brown. That's why he said, if I told you, you go straight to it.
Whose great grandfather?
Forrest. His great grandfather was George Ellis Brown. And if you go back to his interview titled Finn in Yellowstone, he mentions within the first few seconds that his brother's fathers and his wife introduced Finn and his family to Yellowstone.
Okay, I know that's great and that's unbelievable. It's like, what? But you know what else? How would you be able to figure that out by looking at the book? You can't. So the home of Brown has to be something recognizable in the book. And well, Jack has told us that much.
Well, George Brown was also known as Frosty. Remember, Forrest Fenn used the nickname Frosty in the book.
Yeah, but using the name Frosty is not using the name Brown. Frosty and Brown are two different things. I mean, you can't.
Well, I also did
that's
some
not an interchangeable thing.
I also did some background research, and there was an article posted on Google of George Ellis Brown's obituary, and his great-grandchild was Forrest.
Well, that's all fine, but it's not gonna help you find a clue in the real world. That's amazing. And and even that whole idea of being put in below the home being a foundation, the foundation of Brown, meaning that his ancestor was a Brown, and that's how neatly that fits and clever and all that. But it isn't a convincing enough argument to say that you could find Home of Brown in the book just by looking at the book and then coming to that conclusion and then trying to figure out where. And so how did you tie that to a location then?
Well, the actual location itself was a pond that his father, him, and his father's friend used to go to, where they spoke about it, and Finn spoke about it in his interview, also in the Finn and Yellowstone interview, where he said there was one special spot where his father and the friend used to sit on a boulder, and it was one of the many fishing spots that they never told anybody about.
Right, and a fishing spot. You know what that just sparked into my head is when I was watching the Dan Barbarisi interview with Rudy Maxa, He said something specifically saying you have to know Forrest and you have to know his fishing spots or something like that. The way he said it, like, and it was like, how does he know that? He pretty much said it was a fishing spot, and so I'm down with that. But tell me how you got there in the book, and then I'll be impressed. Otherwise, if this extra information that's on the outside of the book, that's outskirts of it all, that's like flung off the page, that's not going to be convincing enough to me to ever follow through. I mean, you're going to have to show me in the book. So, but thanks for sharing that anyway, Tyler.
Well, yeah,
I mean, really, it's brave just to put an idea out there because everybody is going to shoot the shit down no matter what,
Well, for sure. But like, I'll give you, like, for example, like the mentions or Ben mentioned in the book about the Frosty. On that same page, he talks about him and that grandmother used to make the pie capers, and in that picture, he's literally sitting there eating a pie or pie caper against a tree, and it looks like the Nook is literally against the tree, and then of course Frosty is sitting there yelling at him in the picture. And
listen to this. Gedelkin says, unless, Susie, there is a plaque that says, put in below the home of Brown. I found one. Eugene, you what? You found a plaque that says, put in below the home of Brown out there somewhere in the wilderness or out there in the world? A plaque?
And here's something even more crazy to think about. So that same property where that fishing spot was that I mentioned, I want to say that same property that was George Ellis Brown's property was also used for Al Jones and Don Peterson when they did the summer logging, when where Finn was cutting down the trees that we see in the book, where we see the moon in the top left with a dove sitting on a pond or something like that. And Finn has all those stumps surrounding him or whatnot with the axe and the boots and whatnot. That was pretty much image of that was supposed to show his summer logging event, or what do you want to call it?
Right. Okay.
So all of this, all these events that, except for him going to school in Temple, Texas, that happened in Texas. But everything
I know,
else,
but does it say anywhere in the book, does it name this? Like, I'm opened up to page 53 and it's my brother being Skippy chapter. And it talks about one of the men fishing over near Watkins Creek was a pilot, so there's Watkins Creek. There's a location, Hebgen Lake is also mentioned right here on the same page. So is it a mentioned place? Is it someplace that's actually can be figured out from any of these?
I'm really curious because I couldn't find any records or anything like that. I tried to do some deep digging, like, I guess stalking mode wise, but I'm really, 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 really curious if that Brown's home was also used to be once upon a time Don Martinez's one-room tackle shop that what's the name, Dal mentioned in one of the blogs.
Where Forrest used to work tying flies? What?
Yeah, tying flies in the one-room tackle shop.
Right.
I really wanted to say that was in Cody, but I can't find any.
Yeah, it wasn't Cody.
It wasn't
Cody. Yeah, I think so.
Really?
That's my impression. Yeah.
You know what? That must have been George Ellis Brown's property at once upon a time, and I'm actually thinking now that Don Martinez bought it off George Ellis Brown. That actually makes sense, and so, which is why I guess maybe Finn would sometimes escape when after.
Oh no! Did I say it was in Cody? No. Did I? It's in West Yellowstone. What did we just say?
I want to say it's in Cody though, because
it's in West Yellowstone, dear. I'm sure it was West Yellowstone.
Because I think my idea was maybe it later on moved to West Yellowstone, but before it was West Yellowstone, it was maybe in Cody. I couldn't find
maybe, or it was. You mean the old drunk guy that would just leave Forrest to tie all the ties by himself?
in
That's when he
1955,
lived
I
in
think.
West Yellowstone, and there's no way, like, I'm not positive the distance between West Yellowstone and Cody, but I think it's way more than a kid would ever go, even if he
Oh
had
yeah,
a
for sure.
car.
I'm just curious because I know in 1955, a little bit after World War II, Pat Barnes, who took over the shop after Don Martinez, uh, used the shop for a little bit, but then maybe transferred over to West Yellowstone, over on Boundary Street, wherever it is now.
Right? Yeah, he says that. Slednick said the fly shop was in West Yellowstone. Yeah, right. But we don't know what happened, where it was before that, or but
Well, I mean,
that's digging too far back for me. That is not on the.
the only reason I said Cody, because if you look at the building that's off the dirt road from where off the bend of was it Buffalo Bill Scout statue in Cody, there's that property that's off the dirt road, and it looks exactly like the concrete that you see in Don Martinez's old tackle shop. It looks exactly like it. I'm like, oh shit. So I want to say it maybe was before West Yellowstone, and it's possible they transfer locations sooner or later. You know what I mean?
And so what are you putting in at that spot, or put in below the Homer Brown? What does that clue mean to you then, if that was
the pond.
So it's below the pond. You would have to go walking.
So below
that means south of the pond. Go walk south of the pond.
So
you use below as a direction.
Literally above it, like it's a good walk to the pond from the building. And that's why he said it's not associated with a structure, because it's not in the structure or around the structure. It's literally you gotta go up above it. And it's a far walk to walk myself, but it looks like it's not if you're looking on Google Earth, but it's just knowing ground.
I know Google Earth is distorting. It makes everything look easier and closer, and not a big deal. And that doesn't look like there's that many trees, or it looks like there's barely any trees there or whatever. And then in real life, it's like, holy crap. Yeah. I know. And the elevation is what really, the looking on Google Maps and then looking at the real elevation once you're at a location of the, it's only this far away, but all uphill, now
yeah,
that made,
and not even just
that 20 yards like a big walk,
Yeah. And sometimes some things in Google Earth you might see, but then when you get there and it's like that doesn't look the same at all though from what I saw. And that's what happened with me when I went to Cody. Got to the cabin, and I was like, this does not look at the same thing that I saw on Google Earth. I'm like, oh my God, it's totally different.
Yeah, that's a thing. I'm gonna look in the chat here to see what everybody's saying. Oh, hi, David. Nice to see you. Thanks for going live. It's fun to have some to see you pop up. And it's like, oh, a sane a sane person that has something to say about the chase. Yay. Oh, so when he said it was found by a man from east, it was hidden on the land of the man from the west.
And one last thing that I forgot to mention was I think it might have been from the Finn and Yellowstone interview. He mentions there was a plot of land that the National Geographic Society flag was posted on, but he never really mentioned exactly what that plot of land was or where it was. So my guess is maybe it had to be on that property, because I know he talks about the the Boone and Crockett Club. Is that what it's called? He had that, and
something like that.
I can't remember the exact. The
Boone and the Boone and Crockett Club. That sounds close. I don't know.
I can't remember the exact name he used. He mentioned someone's name with the Boone and Crockett Club, but I can't remember who it was. But I want to say that person's wife was the one who posted it. And I want to say it's Don Peterson, but I feel like I'm wrong. Someone can probably correct me in the chat if I'm wrong.
Gadelkin says to Backyard Barbecue, you are correct. There are 9 clues in the poem that will lead you to the 10th. So he's thinking Gadelkan's on board with the 10th clue idea. And also because we were told that there's a 10th clue by Douglas Preston and said it was in the Denver Museum parking lot, his car. So the 9 clues will lead you to the car in the parking lot. Oh, I had so many fun ideas about that car in the parking lot idea. Like, what if that was really Eric Sloan's old Model A or Model T or whatever he was driving? And he donated that to the museum, but it was his car, and he donated to the museum because now it's a
I
awesome.
also dug deep on that one too, and I think what it was, what he was talking about is, what's his name? Harold McCracken had a property that was turned into a mansion. It's literally south of the Brown property, and it's like on the McCracken property is on a mound south of the Brown property. And I think there's parking spaces there. I looked on Google Earth, and there's parking spaces there. And I think what Finn did is maybe parked there, maybe even went on a nature trail on the dirt road and parked there. It's one of the two. But the McCracken property belongs obviously to the Buffalo Bill Center of the West Museum. What do you even call it? Property is what it is.
Mountain Girl. There's a new name. Hi, Mountain Girl. Hi, 5 Leaf Blaze.
Oh, 5 Leaf. I haven't seen him in a while.
Who cares if he's wearing a hat? He's probably in his own home. What is that? I'm missing something here.
I miss my brown hat. I haven't worn. I don't think I've ever worn it on camera.
You have to know what makes a parking lot. You know what else? Waters High I used as an overflow parking lot. When a parking lot's full, there's overflow parking just over here, like in Yellowstone, I'm sure there's like overflow, and that could actually say overflow parking on a sign. And so it's like, oh, Water High is an overflow.
And here's the thing, I recall this very vividly, and I can't remember what live stream it was from the Calais and Capro show, but they mentioned someone told them that Forrest Fenn had a small waterfall at a pond or something like that somewhere. They mentioned the Bahaska TP or whatever it was, that there was a small waterfall stream somewhere, something like that. I forget where it was, but they mentioned it in one of their streams. And I think that's what the just heavy loads and Water High referred to.
Okay.
And then Warm Waters Halt, I want to say it's on the cover when Forrest Fenn is a youngin' in the fly fishing tech weaver costume, or what you gonna call it, the suit.
Hey, who found that? Pipe. Didn't like Ben or no, maybe it was Rudy Green. God, I can't remember now. Somebody was up. They found this that picture, that water hole, or the picture from the front of the Thrill of the Chase, where Forrest is just that little kid standing there holding the fish, and then it says water, and then there's that pipe.
That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like I think what that place is that same property I'm talking about. That was George Ellis Brown's property off the dirt road, and it's literally in the backyard. Lily put in below the Brown property.
Well, he found this exact location, this exact rock, and it was, I'm not sure if it was in or outside the park, but it's around West Yellowstone. I don't know if it was on the Montana side or the Wyoming side. I don't know anything really now. I can't remember, but it wasn't that long ago that video came out, and just within the past few weeks, and I can't remember exactly which you guys all know.
Because it looks in the background of Finn, and in that one picture that we're both talking about, there's like logs like, as a fence in the background of it.
There's a
And I wonder if
fence?
I really wonder, and I thought about this. I really contemplated and thought about it. I wonder if Al Jones, well, not Al Jones, but Forrest Finn used those lodgepole pines from Al Jones and Don Peterson to create that fence that you see in the background for the backyard of George Ellis Brown's property to build that
Right?
fence.
Who knows? I mean, and that's not going to get us any closer to the chest thinking about that kind of stuff, but at least we're not, at least it's something. At least it's something to talk about as we're. So what do you think of all that filming and such going on up in Yellowstone and
With Cynthia and all them?
well, yeah, or whoever, I don't know. I mean, there's like so many characters involved, I think.
Well, I mean,
Are you a
I,
part of
I
any of that? Are you in
no,
all that?
I wish I was, but I'm not. Either way, I don't think I would be because I'd have them. Because I mean, I'm close with the documentarian. I know who he is, and I've talked to him. Me and him have talked multiple times. But I would easily. He already knows that I know it's not in Yellowstone. It never was in Yellowstone because that's government property, and that would mean that land would actually be an issue.
And
Because
that could be the reason that we'll never get to know. And that's bullshit in my eyes.
and that's
No,
why I did my deep research
does.
on
It's
the
like
Treasure Trove log.
however,
You know?
however it lands, it's like, it shouldn't matter. The real story is what matters. Instead of all the made up, problems are
I agree. And I think the really big thing that I don't think anybody really considered is what governs ownership of a treasure chest from one being able to own it. You know what I'm saying?
You for about what? Huh? About owning it? What did you say? I'm sorry, Tyler.
So I think nobody really took into consideration of how one would be able to own it with land coming into play. You know what I mean?
Well, I think Forrest thought of that. I think he
Yeah,
figured it out already,
Oh yeah, for
So
sure. I'm saying searcher wise, nobody considered it at all. You know what I mean?
well, I don't think you know what? I think that for me, I never really thought of if I found the chest, how it would feel to take the chase away from so many other people. Like how,
Oh yeah.
like I worried about, oh my God, I could ruin this. If I figure this out and find it, I'm going to ruin this for so many people. That was a worry,
Oh,
but
for
I
sure.
never, I thought about that because I really seriously did think I could figure it out. Just like everyone else, but I never thought about because I would never be able to own it myself. I would have to, if it was me, I would not consider ever keeping it. I would not be in the position to ever be able to keep it, it would have to immediately, whatever. And as far as what immediately means, that's a whole other story because
That's what I'm saying. Because Finn somehow had some way to legally is a key word, to own the treasure chest and somehow grant ownership to somebody else. So that somehow in some way he had some type of land where he instantly could own the treasure chest with no,
like the land could have been in a trust or in a right. There's some right. It could be some sort of land ownership that makes it so it's cool and fine,
And that's why I always, and when I saw
and that
when I saw
the argument that the searchers are going to go to the spot and ruin it, that is such crap. That makes me angry. The people that would be able to actually go and do that are such a are there's so many people in the chase, and the percentage of people that actually would be able in their lifetime to go to this place and have a malicious intent or have some sort of or damage it or take a piece of it or whatever, that the fake worry about, oh, I'm never going to reveal the location because it's going to be destroyed. That is a fake argument that just infuriates me. It doesn't hold water, and I am not, that's not good enough for me. But then again, what am I going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? See, I take no guff. See? Yeah,
And that's
right.
another thing,
I'm
and
a big
I totally
talker.
get that. But at the same time, like, what if it's possible that maybe I guess you can say trespassing came into play and Jack Stoop doesn't want to go through that legal issue. You know what I mean? Because trespassing is a big
Yeah,
thing.
and so what
because
makes you
of-
think he's trespassed to get it? I don't think he
Well,
did.
And I think that's why he stated what he did about he let it sit overnight because he wanted to get
Oh, he had
permission.
to ask permission. You think it had something to do? Well, yeah, that makes it seem like there's a gatekeeper,
Yeah.
like there was some sort of a gatekeeper involved. Like you had to, but was that gatekeeper somebody's property where Jack had to go and say, I'm going on your private property and I have permission, or
And that's the exact thing that I looked into for the treasure trove laws. For one to be able to trespass to own the treasure chest, the treasure trove, you have to have permission from the owner to be able to have the treasure chest. And I think that's why Jack Stoop waited overnight to get the treasure chest, because he knew it was still going to be there because nobody else really knew the location confirmation wise, and he knew it was going to be sitting there overnight, either legally or so he just felt confident enough to wake up the next morning to get it after getting
Yeah,
permission.
I don't have a big problem with that part of the story as some other people. Like some other people are like, no, that is impossible. There's no way he left it overnight. But for me, I don't see a big, huge deal with that because, geez, it already took you this long and this hard, what is one more night? Especially if it had something to do with the permission thing, there had to be a reason for that. And so to me, it just seems like, okay, big deal. And then go drink a bottle of wine. Sounds like something I would do. And then sleep in, because then it would be like, you don't have anything to worry about,
Yeah.
Then it would be like, okay, I got this now. Oh, wake up, whatever, 10 a.m., go get some biscuits and gravy, and then get out there and go pick it up. That so what? I don't think it's a big deal. Someone sent me your Packer Jack part of the show. Interesting. Oh yeah, Packer Jack was on Dark. Oh, Dark went on last night. That's right. I fell asleep watching those guys. No, I watched them until they started talking about music. And then I had to bolt. It's terrible. That's how I live my whole life, censoring my world. Who was he looking for at the finale? Says Gallatin Ghost. He would know them on site, not via email. Jack? I don't think so. Yeah. Who was he looking for at the finale?
Well, where was the finale at? That's the question.
That was at the fishing bridge up in Yellowstone. Remember, that's where the finale after it was found. Those guys all went up to the fishing bridge.
That's right, because you know what? I think the night of when he left the chest at the property, I think it was said that he went to a park, right? And I wonder if it was to Yellowstone National Park, because that's why I told everybody it's Yellowstone. It had to be Yellowstone National Park because he already knew it wasn't going to be on government land, and he knew that it had something to do personally with Fan, and he was like, "Well, since I have to wait for permission, I'm just gonna go to Yellowstone
Well,
National Park because that's where I've always
that
wanted
does
to go."
make that makes a lot of sense, but also hi Jason Indy. She just says that. Also that it's not only Yellowstone Park makes sense that that's the park that he always wanted, but also from let's say Cody or Yellowstone all the way to Santa Fe, there are national park. I mean, isn't the Teton and then what about isn't Bandelier? And then you get into Colorado. I don't know what's all there, but isn't there like several national park options or that
Well,
he could have actually stopped at?
no, because I think I think he knew that there was one park in play because he knew Forrest Fenn's heart was at Yellowstone, and he knew in his heart that Forrest Fenn Treasure Chest was
Chest,
at
the
in
chest where
Cody.
your heart
Yeah,
is your chest
yeah.
is your
Well,
heart, and your heart
you know
is
what I
in
mean.
Yellowstone. Seems like obvious, Captain. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
But yeah, I think like he knew Forrest Fenn loved Yellowstone. He was like, since I've never been yet to Yellowstone, never really visited since I knew it wasn't there. I'm gonna go and visit. You know what I mean? And I guess that's why Forrest Fenn was like, "Hey, K-Bro, and y'all, let me know if you see
Well,
someone
Alan
here."
Kay says uh he went to the Tetons after he found the chest in Yellowstone. Yeah, that could be. Susie, Matt read the story at the park right across from Brandon Inn. What story? What am I missing? Carrie Galloway says biscuits and gravy. I mean, if you found $1 million chest, at least get waffles or pancakes. No, man.
Oh, and also I did forget to mention that there was a article also like I've read before where Forrest Fenn has been stated to say that his trip used to involve the Buffalo Bills Center of the West with his family all the way to Yellowstone afterwards. So which would make sense because literally right, the Buffalo Bills Center of the West Museum is not too far, really close by to where the treasure chest was. It's literally right past the off the bend of the Buffalo Bills Scout statue, which is like back past the Cody Health or Regional Health.
Stuck in Chase Landia says, blows my mind how folks don't listen. Fenn said, my heart is in Yellowstone in the summer and New Mexico in the winter. He hit his chest in the summer, folks.
Yes, and you know what? And this is another thing that I thought about deeply. I was like, why in the world would he say 79 or 80? And I want to say he hit it on August 22nd in 2010. And that's why he said don't go where an 80-year-old man wouldn't go because it was his birthday. And I remember a rumor going around on Google back when way before I was even known on YouTube and within the Chase community, that there was a rumor going around that said he got back in time for a birthday party. And I was like, huh? And I kept trying to search for it afterwards, and I couldn't find nothing. And I was like, what in the
It could have
world
been
is
his
going
own
on?
birthday. That's why he said that. Oh, that's cute. Well, and that's not going to help us find
Oh, I know.
anything or figure out anything, but that is like clever and
But with that same idea in mind, Stoop did say that he was at a museum or at the museum in Cody for an event, and he sought it out to be convenient to hide it on the same trip. Which only means and we all know he was a board member on the board of committee team as a trustee
Oh yeah,
on the
for
Buffalo Bills
sure.
Center of the West. So only thing that could mean was he was at a board meeting for the Buffalo Bills Center of the West, and
So
since
did
he was
you,
already there, he hit it in Cody, so he wouldn't have to leave his wife behind with other men he didn't know.
or wouldn't have to go, or the radius of Cody, not too far from Cody, and
Yes.
even if it's not in Cody proper, someplace that's not too far from that location, I would be on board with that for sure. So
And
then
that's why I
when you went
say
to
that brown property. I'm telling you, because it's really not. It's. I could have easily walked there.
Have you
All
ever
I wanted-
gone there? I know you went there and then you got sick and had to go home, and it was a horrible experience, and that sucks the last time. But had you ever been there before?
No, that was my first time, and I literally took a
Oh,
picture.
that just is such a sucky story. I'm so sorry. Bummer, because
It
wow,
is a bummer because
there's just so much to see and so much, to look for
Yeah.
all the Forrest Fenn things at that museum and all the things that that would just be enough in a day's worth right there. Yeah, that's still gonna.
like literally, I
Okay.
took a picture, and it's my profile picture here on YouTube, and as well as on Facebook. But I took a picture in front of the Buffalo Bill Scout statue, and like I said, that dirt road is literally off the bend of that statue. We're nearby the statue.
The bylaws, Gidalkin knows a lot about that museum, has been there many, many times. And he's got video up there too. Anyway, the bylaws of the museum is when you turn 80, you can no longer be a part of the board. Oh, wow. Did you know that, Tyler? What if he was up there on his 80th birthday? Because, that was his last board meeting. Because once you reach 80, you can't be a part of the board any longer. That's what
There you
Gidalkin
go.
just said. There you go.
And that's why I always said
Wow.
79 or 80, because he didn't want people to actually figure that shit out. Because if he did, anyone did, they'd be like, "Oh, I know what he means," and he's never gonna be there again. And he never would have been able to hide the chest.
So interesting.
yeah.
So they moved them to emeritus? That's a good question, K-Pro. Indiana Jones. K-Pro Indy. I don't think so. Yes, I'm here. I'm here, everyone. I'm here. Here I am, everyone. Good to see you, Indiana Jones. I'm here too. And so is Tyler. I'm sitting in the dark tonight. I'm refusing to go on camera. I just couldn't. I just can't. Oh.
I'm just walking around my house in silence. Because
Being a part of the Fenniverse is hard. It's fun and awful at the same time. How can that be? The treasure is not associated with any property owned by the Buffalo Bill Historical Museum.
Yep.
Yes, Forrest said that. You are correct, because that did seem like it would make sense, because they owned random, spots. Like, I think they even owned land inside Yellowstone Park. That's private land. There is private land inside the park, and there's also BML land inside the national park. There's different, so that was a good thing. But yeah, you're right, Alan.
Yeah, and that's why I never listened to Levy
And then,
Digger or any of them.
Stuck in Chaselandia says 79 is the periodic number for gold. Yeah. Yep. Yes, it is. And that's what got me. I did go into that rabbit hole, as well as everybody does, so if this does come out and the periodic table is somehow involved in this somewhere, it would not surprise me. Been listening to Davio too long.
You have
Davio, he's up in the neck of the woods with the by the forest fires. Oh, that's scary.
And you know what? I wonder if that forest fire also from Yellowstone blew into that property that I'm talking about. Past the lily underneath the Shoshone. Well, I don't want to say underneath the Shoshone River, but a good ways from it. You know what I mean?
Right?
Because like the Riverway Trail is like right underneath the Shoshone River, and then like a little way below that is the property.
So what do you think? What do you need for closure from this? Do you need the clues explained, or do you need the location, just where the spot was, and doesn't matter how you got there?
I think if we give it enough time and let things die down, kind of like, the old Lost Treasures kind of type die down, I think sooner or later Jack will be like, well, I don't have any issues anymore. I won't have any problems at all if I come out, because no one really gives a, cahoots about it. So, here's all the answers, blah, 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 blah. I think that's why he's being very quiet, because he's waiting for it to die down, like completely 100% with nobody talking about it. And then he goes, kapoom, here's everything, you know what I mean?
It's got to be. Well, there's really no precedence for this sort of thing, Forrest, and the only precedents are, whatever the treasure hunt site had gone on previous, and the Blaine hunt, and the being the most famous previous to this, and that other one that was on TV that Jack talked about as well, that one in Nevada, Push, Nevada. But those, so yeah, we're inventing the wheel as we go. Here, I see my name. Did you see that Mount Carmel Monastery is being sued for human trafficking? Oh, Jesus. Started November 2020. The monks that make coffee in Wyoming. Well, isn't that lovely? No, I did not know that, and that's horrifying. Calda goes, says he had been working on this since '88. Spent years crafting the poem, chose his umbilically attached spot, worked with lawyers, interacted with searchers,
But you said
and
1988?
countless email ending equals ambivalence.
And you know
Yeah.
what? 1935, I believe, is when Don Martinez had his one-room tackle shop, if I'm not mistaken. Which would mean that would be way prior to 1988. Which would mean he knew way in advance where he was going to hide it, but like he didn't have the whole full poem, complete and ready to go. Which will make sense. And then prior to Don Martinez, of course, you had George Ellis Brown, who owned the property at one point in time before Don. And things just started clicking with Forrest. And he was like, I really love this spot. And, of course, as we all know, he had a grandfather who introduced him to Yellowstone. Well, him and his family, Yellowstone. And we all know Yellowstone is close to Forrest Fenn's heart. And so, if you can go back to that Cody interview that Dario has, Forrest Fenn mentions certain things that he wanted to marry together to create a spot.
And what's really important about that one is it's before, that's an early interview. I can't remember what year that was. Do you remember off the top of your head what year that was? It was like 2005 or 2003 or 2000, something like that.
No, I think it was 2006.
2006. Okay, I'll fall for that. Museum took control of most of his stuff, says Goodell-Khan. What do you mean? The museum? Let's see. Yep, that's looking in the monastery with Lucky Digger. Alan Kay wanted a Happy Meal with golden nuggets, but instead got a sourdough Jack. Jack in the Box. Wah, wah. The lowest common denominator of fast food is Jack in the Box. Ugh. Hooey. Carrie, there are very, very few that are 500 and 200 from the road with a natural barrier, which is how Jack narrowed it down, believe, from his posts on condo. Oh yeah, there's all those posts on Reddit that Jack supposedly put out as Condor Do
I
you know
also
about
went
all
through
that?
that too. Yeah, I went through. I just went when I was really in Cody, and my mom and dad were like, get off your phone, get off your phone. What I was actually
Like, I
doing was
can't. I need to go
them.
through all these
I was
these
going through
200 pages of
all of
Reddit.
them. And here's what's really funny. You mentioned the book, and on Jack's Reddit account, Condor 2, he mentioned Stinking Creek. And you know what chapter? I think the Looking for Lewis and Clark chapter. Stinking Creek is actually mentioned in that chapter.
Yeah, it
Nobody
is.
caught that.
For reals.
Nobody caught that except me. I said, "Oh my heaven gods!"
It's called something different now, but it was used to be referred to as Stinking Creek or something like that. I don't know. I could be making that up, pulling that out
And
my
you know
butt.
what? We were on a white water rafting trip with in Wyoming and Cody on the Shoshone River. And you know what the Indians used to call the Shoshone River?
What?
Stinking waters.
Okay.
That's interesting, which probably means that creek, the river, was runoff water for that creek where Forrest Fenn had his ponds. Or
Could
actually, let me
be.
rephrase that. The
Could be.
irrigation pipe. Let me rephrase that. The irrigation pipe we saw in that picture on the Thrill of the Chase cover was probably runoff water from that river. I guarantee you. That's why they called it Stinking Creek.
Five Leaf Blaze says, I'll tell you all exactly why people were within 200 feet of my spot soon.
You want to know something interesting?
David says, and the Artie book had a story about a skunk. Oh yeah, the Artie book had a story about a skunk. That's true. What about that, David?
I know the two people who were within 200 and 500 feet of the treasure chest. That's the crazy part, because I know a lot of people within the community. But one of them is no longer here. The other one is here on Earth.
You know what? I also listened to K-Pro's interview of Forrest Fenn and Douglas Preston, you know, the unedited one they put out for everybody, that great. I was listening to that one again too. And Forrest had what was I talking about or thinking about? The Artie book and the skunk. God, I can't remember. I lost my train of thought just like that. Sorry, you guys. God, I'm lame at this. Because you know what? I'm trying to listen to Tyler and talk to you guys and read the chat at the same time. It's just like, and drink a beer and, you know, everything.
I want to say the people that were probably close to it were Donnie Schwartz, Heather Donna Angel, Hedger Brown, and some people do know this other person.
Oh, I just remembered what I was going to say about the 200, 500 foot. During that interview, Forrest, or I don't know, now I'm confused which interview I was listening to, but he said that he was surprised that nobody was around that day that he hit it, that he went to, but he was surprised that nobody was there. So it makes it seem like a place that's frequent, that there's a lot of people there. There's often a lot of people in the area, you know? And
oh yeah, for sure. And that property there's people, it's almost like a neighborhood that's along the that Monument Street or whatever it's called. There's like houses there and that overlook the hills that can oversee where Forrest Fenn would hide it. Which would make sense.
That's why I've been wanting to go back and interview more people. I was last there in March of 2020. Oh, right. And then COVID wrecked everything for everybody. About this too, you know, you guys have to, we have to add that into the mix. If there's not enough, you know, crap to begin with, the whole COVID thing, it's like, good God, our poor mental health. Everybody, damn, I need to get.
Well, Jack did say he had his personal private jet or personal whatever fly him in a personal private jet. Which makes sense to the COVID.
And you know what else? Dan Barbarisi mentioned too that he had a personal plane when he flew in to look at the chest. When Dan Barbarisi got to go to Santa Fe to the lawyer's office and go through the chest in Santa Fe, he had said on an interview that it was his mom's husband, so his stepdad's airplane that he flew in there during the whole COVID mess, you know, whatever. But that's how he got there. And it's like, oh, again,
Well,
I'm jealous. I'm just like, oh, and all these
Yeah.
people in privilege get to be a part of this. You know, if you are privileged, then you get to be a part of this. If you are not, then you get to sit in the shadows on YouTube and whine about it. I got to go whine about it. I'll be right back.
Well, honestly, for people really, well, for those who have been to Cody, might or might not know this, but there's a private airport where, you know, private jets and those type of private aircrafts can fly into.
There's private airports everywhere.
Yeah.
People have, especially in Wyoming. And you know what else? There's
Yeah, Cody.
people in Wyoming that have ranches that have their own airstrips on their own giant ranches. All over. You know, it's like, there's so many.
The only reason there's a private airport is because we had to drop off a rental car at the actual like public Cody airport, and we originally stopped the private airport, and my mom and dad were like, "This is the wrong airport." So then we later went to the public airport and dropped off the rental car. So yeah.
Right.
So that's probably where Jack Stu flew into, which was the private airport in Cody, and then probably bits of rental cars. Maybe, I guess, there, or maybe at the public airport. I don't know, one of the two.
From when are you talking when he went to get the chest?
Yeah, I want to get the chest.
Well,
And
no,
then-
because wasn't this the whole point, that it was proven that these guys have evidence, Ben and K-Pro, that he drove with somebody. He was actually in a car with somebody, and they drove up to Wyoming from Colorado. Jack flew into Colorado. There's actual proof of this, that he flew into Colorado and drove with somebody up.
I pray that's not the case. Oh, Jesus.
He flew into Colorado Springs or something like that.
Okay,
Or no, he flew into Denver and went to Colorado Springs or whatever. His friend is from Colorado Springs, and then they drove up. And so there was no rent cars involved. Yes, that's what you've been missing out in the chatter world, is there's like proof. Apparently there's evidence that they were able to tie, like, people are on this. K-Pro is on this. She's in the chat right now.
Well, since K-Pro's in here, my heart goes out to Jack too for that reason. And I don't know how many people know this, but we flew into Denver, Colorado, and we went to a restaurant. It was a Mexican restaurant. It was the only restaurant open that night.
Was it Casa Bonita?
No, it was what was it? It was, oh my God. Urban Sombrero. That was it. It was Urban Sombrero. And we went there. Inside, nobody was wearing their mask. It was like everyone was like standing next to each other. Like it was almost like everyone.
But during that time frame, but during that time, we got like a few weeks in our whole life where everyone got to take their masks off, where everything was okay again for a minute, you know? Yeah, so you can't.
Oh, like I just have a feeling, because I could tell no one really gave a rat's ass at that restaurant about COVID. And my mom and dad looked at each other and looked at us and said, "This was a bad idea."
Oh, whatever. You don't know, and you can't say that. And that's COVID made everything suck. And that's true, and it still does. And but that's just complicated our whole chase, and it totally messed up your lovely trip to Cody. And Candy's still not over it, and a lot of people have been affected. And not only that, I mean, travel, it took so much from us all. But you know what? Okay, back to the private plane idea. Jack could have taken the private plane into Colorado, flown into to Colorado Springs in his private plane, and then got into his friend's car, and then him and his friend, so it's all COVID friendly, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a way to travel, get, explain during COVID how it can all be explained, and so that's still, I
For
don't know,
sure.
it's
I
good.
definitely agree. I just thought it was public. I just probably enjoyed the restaurants during the COVID time in Denver, Colorado. That'd be a mess for them. They would have caught COVID. As much as I hate to say it, oh God, that'd be bad for them. Because it was so bad when I went to Denver, Colorado. I was like, "Are you serious?" Because I mean, my mom is. I hate to bring politics into it, but my mom
Yeah,
is.
don't. We're not going there. Let's go take the high road. I'm gonna read something else. Oh, the Colorado Springs airport is just 4 miles away from Eugene's house. Oh, really?
Who's Eugene?
Eugene, are you Jack's friend? Hey. Uh-oh. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
But Susie, what would you say if my soul or my ideology and theory was actually legit when Jack Stoof came out and said it?
I would say bravo, well done, Tyler. I would. To anybody,
I've
anyone
been,
that comes up with this is like bravo, well done.
I've been diving deep into all of this just for y'all because like I said in chat, I don't care about the fame. I don't care about being a documentary. I care about doing this for y'all without any fame or money or anything involved like that.
Well, if you're the right one, then I'm glad that that's your attitude about it all. If you have to be the one that is, all there, that, because not everybody has that. If I'm the right one, or if I've got this proof, I'm not gonna share it with anybody. I'm not gonna tell them. I'm gonna profit off this. I'm gonna do this, that, and the other. There's a lot of other things that are going on, or all sorts of frustrations going on. Can you see the chat as well?
No, I don't
Susie
see
is
any chat.
awesome, but do you know Nelica? She's another expert on Sloan. No, I don't know Nelica, and I'm so jelly of Nelica. I would love to meet that dear, sweet woman. She is, and she's also loves Eric Sloan. I think we would get along together just fine. And she actually has Sloan paintings, real
Well, I hate
ones,
to
that
break
she
it
could
to you,
touch
but
every day if she wanted, and I would.
I have, what do you call it? This person who can easily hook me up with communication wise with Nalika, because me and her were in talks when I had certain sources. That one person I will say, because she is mine. It was what was her name? Pam. I can't remember her last name. She was very,
Ramblin' Pam.
yeah,
What?
Ramblin' Pam. There you go. That was her. Me and her were in talks because we were talking about.
I met her and her husband in Las Vegas, and they are fab, just like you see. They are just these wonderful. And she gave me a pen that when you click it to, put the pen out and to write, a little flashlight lights up the tip of the pen. It's so cute. So I have a Ramblin' Pam YouTube souvenir.
Yep, Ramblin' Pam was the one who told me that when the Buffalo Bill Museum transported the shark cabin to the museum, they instantly contacted Forrest Fenn because Forrest Fenn wanted to see the where they put it and whatnot. So she's the one who told me that.
Yep.
Like I said, they're
She
gonna
made
do it.
it's really great video. Have you ever watched her videos about that whole connection in the cabin? She actually interviewed Forrest, or got to spend time with Forrest and ask questions about it. And it's so good.
Yeah, I always said to myself, I said, I want to dive deep into questions with Marilyn Payne because I know she has something that would be very intriguing to others. And so I made it very, clear because I was like, I really want to know what she knows, because I want to help the community because, I'm about the community, And so I was like, I want to see what she knows. And so I contacted her because Digging Gypsy set me up with her. And me and Ramblin' Pam had a whole conversation about the shark cabin. So, yeah.
Yep. Good people.
Hmm.
Good people, those guys. There's a lot of good people in this. No ciphers, says the king, our king Casher. 5-leaf, no ciphers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good luck
he
with that,
said,
the king.
oh,
Good luck with that.
5-leaf.
'Cause I know 5 leaf. He's gonna say all day, every
I
day.
know.
"Oh,
He's
we're
like,
five-"
hey, Susie's channel here got attacked really bad when she was right about the cipher topic. That did go wrong that night. All of a sudden, boom, there was like but that happens. And I think it's something to do with.
At that point, you might as well not even mention cipher, because the moment you do, here comes 5-leaf. Oh,
Well, whatever, when you find a cipher and it works and it brings you to a place and you found it in the book, it's like this, oh my God, how can this not be? I think as far as me, even though I did find that whole thing that said, it's on the ID card that says in a cipher, use pretty much tells us to use a cipher on the ID card, in my opinion. But I still didn't. When I found that, I still didn't do it because I don't think it's right. I don't. But how could that? What a coincidence for that to say that. I don't know.
no, I don't think it was. I don't think cipher was involved. Because I do remember. I don't know if it was true, but I used to read Tar's channel all the time, the website, and it said something about no ciphers, yada yada yada.
Yep. Forrest did tell us that, but it was just one of those things. It was like, okay, there's that. I found that. It makes sense to me. Put that in the bucket, the bucket of knowledge of all these other things, and
Yeah.
thinking that sooner or later, we all did that, adding to the bucket of knowledge. Sooner or later, we're going to have enough to figure it out, to sort it out. That was our whole idea of it all. But
And honestly, and I hate to say it, because I think Forrest was a man of like family, because he always was doing things with his family, He was never, if he was away from his family, it was usually with someone he was tight knit with, friends wise,
Oh yeah, him and Peggy were in my eyes, they were like a perfect couple.
Yeah.
And he said that he's like, she let me be me, and and it takes two people to make everything perfect like that. And
yeah,
and those guys, I have a lot of respect. And so that one does hit a nerve when I hear any of the things against Forrest, or Forrest trying to use the chase to for favors and such. That it's irritating, but it doesn't. It's like so.
I mean, when I think of favors, I mean, I would think more of a favor of helping someone out who wasn't needed help. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, okay, and even if his worst crime is he asked somebody for a nude picture, oh my God! I
don't think Forrest Fenn would even stoop that low.
No,
But
I mean, and even okay, say even if he did,
I don't think he
my
would.
God, so what?
That would
Old
be
man
cheating on
wants to
Peggy.
see a girl naked.
I don't see Fenn doing that type of mess. Like I get it,
either.
But it's like
he never even asked me ever. So it's like not even it's God, it's not that there's so many people that are trying to drag this in so many ways that I can't wait.
I think it comes down to hatred and bigotry. I think that's what it is. A lot of people are
the spinning and the hate and the horrible and the all that is just,
because I was about to use some profanity, but I was like, I don't want to use any more.
It's gonna have to.
Yeah, no.
It's gonna have to go. It's gonna have to go. I think this is just like getting everything out.
Yeah.
The crap out before the good comes out, because obviously the chase has done so much good and so much. I mean, all that other crap is just crap.
What's the word?
Noise and BS and
what a lot of people are doing are twisting what Forrest Fenn is about and using
ruining our beautiful chase. I
100%
know
agree.
it.
I couldn't agree with more with you, Susie. You said it best and perfectly. Like Forrest Fenn, from what I know and have seen, he was a great guy. I never met the guy, and I wish I would have because I always
I
wanted to meet him.
know.
And
I
it
never
sucks
got to meet him, and he was like my best friend.
it
And
sucks
I know what you mean. That whole, I
because
feel
I
like I
tried
know
to.
him like I've knew him forever, and I've never got to meet him. And there's nothing. I mean, he was a great guy, and a hero, and you know, there's just so many ands. There's a lot of ribbons to his apron, or you know, whatever that metaphor.
Like I think his one maybe biggest mistake in his life was with archaeology and the whole FBI scandal that everyone always mentions, and what Dan Barbarisi mentioned in
God,
one
and
interview.
if that's what all anyone ever, you know, thought of Forrest, it's like, that's just like so, you know, I know, but that's another thing too about this. It is so personal to
And you know
everybody.
what? Here's the funniest part about it, all of it, with everyone slandering his name. Do you really think a man that was willing to talk to Dan Barbarisi about the whole FBI scandal would actually go and do something that was against his integrity when he was willing to talk about his whole FBI scandal that he had nothing to do with it, that was illegal? Come on now, folks. That's my 2 cents.
I know. Okay, seriously, good night, nomadic madman. He keeps saying good night. Don't leave us, stay. If you must, good night if you must. Are you being like Jason Northface, who says he comes in the room and says good night, and then says it 50 times. Actually, I haven't seen Jason in a while. I hope he's found other. You've talked to him, or what did you just say?
No, I haven't talked to him in a while.
No, I haven't seen him or talked to him in a while. So hopefully he's maybe. Oh no, Jay. I was gonna say he's moved on from Chase, but no. He was up in Yellowstone with Ben filming. He was
Really?
one of yes.
I'm gonna laugh at
Jason
him.
Northface was with Ben filming with Jens in Yellowstone. Yep.
Because when the song, I'm telling you, when the song comes out, but I don't think it will, because I think we would have already had it if it was going to come out.
No, not yet. It's gonna have to wait until the chest is sold. Maybe it's got to wait until Jack is no longer in possession of it, and then what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about it? You know, and then it comes out it was in the park, and it's like, what are you gonna do about it? You know, it's already gone.
Well,
whatever.
Yeah, I like that idea, and I love it because I really want to know. I want to be like, yeah, I thought all about it, and I had it. You know what I mean? But I just don't think it's gonna happen because two things. He has respect for Forrest, and he doesn't like. And I know you're gonna hate this. You're gonna hate me for this. He's like, click.
Okay.
Get out of here, Tyler. But I think he doesn't want to see the spot disrespected because of the bad apples, such as
who, Forrest or Jack?
Huh?
Who are you talking about, Jack or Forrest?
Jack. I don't think Jack's too. Well, he has respect for Forrest Fenn, and he doesn't want to see the spot disrespect because of the bad apples, such as what Kenny calls Bad Greg and his whole clan and crew.
Oh, do you really think like somebody's gonna risk their?
Yes. You got a lot of idiots out there.
Whatever, and like if you get caught screwing something up, like in Yellowstone Park, like a lady. What did I just read? Was a lady? I can't remember. Somebody would just walk off the boardwalk and walked onto the geyser platform, whatever, in Yellowstone, and they're in actual jail. They got like 30 days in jail just for walking outside the boardwalk in Yellowstone. So you can't mess with things. If you got caught vandalizing someplace in Yellowstone, your ass would be in huge trouble. And I'm not talking about the guy digging in a graveyard. I mean, there's so many levels of wrong there. But I'm just talking a normal, you know, go and say it is in Yellowstone, it is in the park. and somebody leaves behind Mardi Gras beads hanging on a branch, oh, I could kick somebody's ass for even thinking about it. But you know, that's vandalism, or that's like something
Oh,
like you
yeah.
could get in trouble.
Oh, for sure.
But what are they gonna do? I mean, if they want to wreck something, what do you mean? Like, what are they gonna do? Spray paint? Are they gonna
But-
leave junk behind that people have to clean up? Like, I will move to Yellowstone Park and be a guard at the spot
Well, let
for
me
the rest of
let me
my
ask
life
you
and
this.
remove the shit every day and move it to a Forest Fen museum, or, you know, make a place for all these things that people leave behind. Then, you know, there's a way to get around this without.
No, well, let me ask you this. Let's say it was private property and there's really no one to watch after the property anymore because the person who originally owned the property, both two people are gone. And so there's really nobody to watch over it. So let's say someone trespasses the land because it's private property and someone disrupts or disrespects the special spot of forest fans. What's going to happen then?
What do you mean? I mean,
Like, who's there's gonna be nobody to put them in place because nobody here is gonna be able to call the cops because it's private property and no one's able to see what's going
right.
on.
What if the place becomes a pilgrimage that you want to go? What if it is private
Right.
property and they're going to turn it into the forest? Here's where you get to see all his collection, his whole collection that, you know, we weren't ever privileged to get to go into his vault. We were never privileged to get to go to his house and see all the stuff that so many other searchers did get to go to. So what if there is a place what if they do make it a place where all of us can go and want to go, or, you know, make it into the forest museum? You know, I mean,
Well, you know what? I'm
on
glad you
private
mentioned the
property that
museum.
can happen, you know?
I'm glad you mentioned the museum because I think what Jack Soup is trying to do, and I think he's in talks and cahoots with a certain museum. And I think he's trying to sell the chest to that certain museum. But I don't think the museum is willing to barge because, you know,
Why
Union's
wouldn't
already
they?
separated.
Why would they not want? Why say we're talking about the Cody Museum, let's say, and the chest was offered to the Cody Museum? Why would they turn that down? I mean, $3 million, or even say Jack said 5 million. I mean, 5 million, that's like, I mean, chump change, really, in the scheme of rich people's problems in Wyoming and how to get rid of their tax money, or, you know, get their tax breaks and shit. I mean, enough people would donate to acquire that chest. I just can't. It's going to be a huge story. This is going to be some sort of movie, or, you know, there's going to be, there's wow to come. I think there's wow to come. So why wouldn't they want it, or, you know,
But you know what?
or
I think let's just say hypothetically, because I might put that out there. What if Jack Stupid
well,
is
yeah, it's
actually
all
trying?
hypothetical. We're just talking out our ass
Yeah.
at this point, because,
Let's just
you
say
know,
hypothetically speaking, Jack Stupid is actually trying to sell it to the Buffalo Bills Museum, and I think this be a great idea for Forrest Fenn, because that might be why he donated the sharp cabin originally, because he wanted the treasure chest to go within that sharp cabin for a display.
I know,
And
wouldn't that be fabulous?
yeah, and I think that'd be smart, but then you would have people who break the glass in the cabin because they want to get a hold of the chest. Because you got all
Right.
that.
There would have to be, it would have to be guarded, like, whatever. Museums
Yeah.
already set up for that kind of shit. Redneck Express says,
Yeah.
because a modern day treasure hunt box of gold really has nothing to do with the historic Old West, says Redneck Express. I would argue that Forrest Fenn won the Rounders Award as an author for spiriting the Old West and collecting, and look at his collection that he's already come up with.
Yeah, and you know what?
This
Also,
just
nobody.
is drawing people west. I mean, drawing people to Rocky Mountains, drawing people west from everywhere around the globe. I mean, Davy B right there. he's down under, you know? I mean, there's people everywhere around the globe. So why wouldn't you want your museum, especially the Cody Museum that was Forrest was a part of the board. We just talked about that. You know, why wouldn't you want the chest there? I don't see the reasoning. Gadelkin gave me a good, it does not represent the museum's mission. The chest has no historical value. Oh, bullshit. This is the biggest treasure hunt in the United States. I mean, this is our national treasure, Yellowstone and Forest Yellowstone. That is historic to me. You know, I mean, bringing families into Yellowstone or coming to see the chest, that's teaching kids to come, you know, or you know what I'm saying.
You know what nobody mentioned for the chest, one of the chest contents, and I'm almost appalled and surprised. What if Forrest Fenn's first ever arrowhead was in some type of case in that treasure chest?
What if what?
Forrest Fenn's first ever found arrowhead was in some type of case in the treasure chest.
Oh, right. Oh, I'm sure he did not give that first ever
And-
arrowhead.
and if
I'm
I'm not-
sure that arrowhead is now belongs to his daughter, one of his daughters. or
No, I
his-
think it, honestly, I hate to say it, but if you go back through Jack Steve's pictures where he was in the lawyer's office with Forrest Fenn, there was actually a picture of some type of plastic case with the arrowhead in it. Nobody ever
Well,
mentioned
isn't
it.
that wonderful? Because you know what? An arrowhead is archaeological find. You know, it's a
Prehistoric find.
yeah. It
Yeah.
could be a prehistoric weapon, you know. So nobody cares about the chest, folks, outside of a couple hundred people. I know, but that's the whole thing, stuck in Chaselandia. That's where the whole story and the whole what we're waiting for, the big
And you know what? What if
documentary, you know, it's enough people do know about this. And because I just watched that Expedition Unknown episode once again, that introduced it to a lot of people that would never get boots on the ground or would never be a part of it, but yet are interested in it, are like, ooh, you know. And once that ends up as the documentary that's being filmed right now or whatever, once that's released, it's going to grab the attention of who, I don't care who you are, who doesn't love a treasure hunting story?
Right.
I mean, come on. It's like built in our DNA, isn't it? Like this whole idea of and the whole story as it unfolded over the 10 years and stuff, it's fabulous. So it's like, I know we're all just supposed to sit here and wait, la da da, be patient, this is gonna come up. But when you don't get the privilege of being a part of it, it stinks.
I got two other things on my mind that this just popped in my head randomly that I didn't think about when I was originally talking about the George Brown place. So what if Donnie Doe and Forrest Fenn made that trip to the property when they were on their search for Lewis and Clark?
Could have been.
On top of that, also, I think, if I'm not mistaken, not Johnny Doe, but Al Jones, Don Peterson, and Forrest Fenn came to that spot on that property, and that's where they found that bullet hole coffee pot, or whatever you call it.
Yep.
And that's where they used the pine needle, or had the pine needles that they put in it, and the pine cones.
Pine needle tea or whatever. Tastes like
Yep.
kerosene.
And then what else was I gonna say? I had something else. Oh yes, the George the Bitch, or the Bitch, whatever you say his name. Didn't George and Forrest Fenn go searching for arrowheads and buffalo skulls in Cody?
Frizen? George Free? You mean the archaeologist George or George?
No. George, the guy that wore the brown hat.
Oh, I have no idea about that story, but I see my name in chat, so I'm gonna say I like the Fenn Museum idea though, says Redneck Express. That'd be super cool. Spelled Kewl. Wouldn't it? God, it'd be great. And then Alan Kay said, the story is worth more than the chest, in my humble opinion. Yes. The chest
Yes.
has items that might be problematic. The location of the chest might be problematic. That's the problem. Uh-huh.
And that could
That
be
is
why
the problem.
Jack Stoof decided on not telling the community what the Sullivan, the location was, because he didn't want to get into legal issue because of maybe trespassing and have a legal dispute with the court and the
David-
judge and those 12 9 yards.
David Paciano says, Gedelkin, they're having a conversation about just saying it could be a featured exhibit, but not a part of the permanent collection. They're having a conversation about seeing that maybe Ripley's, believe it or not, the treasure chest is considered a curiosity. How dare you! Oh, Gedelkin! Oh my God, that would hit me right in the heart. It is not a curiosity. Oh, this is history right here.
Oh, I forgot another thing that I just hit my mind as well, because I've already been 2 years in. I don't know who read this article or not, but I know I read it myself. But there was a quote from Forrest Fenn, who I guess he was talking to a searcher or whatnot, and he was telling the searcher that that a trail can always be left by a dragged fly and a bat cast on a high limb of a tree. And I wonder if that
Okay.
same thing was the blaze, where he got his lure stuck on the dragged fly.
I know it could be. I thought about that too. Or that would just be an extra, not the
And you know what?
blaze, but like an extra blaze, like a double blaze, like like there it is, like seeing it.
Well,
Why not?
that's a good point. But when I think about the double blaze, I want to say maybe it could have been from the forest fire, and there were two trees close by to each other that were like on top of each other like this, that were both burned. And then Jack Stoof was like saw 1,000 yards down yonder and saw the actual blaze, or maybe considered it and it was like, no, that can't be it. It's too ordinary.
There
It's
had to be
too
a big
obvious.
blaze that you could see from afar, and
Yeah.
possibly a little one under directly where it was.
And then
You know what, Tyler? I'm gonna cut us off here. So it's already 11:06. I can't believe I've been on 2 hours already.
oh, this is fair.
And thank you so much for jumping on with me. But I'm gonna go ahead and end it. I'm out of beer and have to take a break.
got
So
one
I'm
for
gonna
you.
just go. And I hope somebody comes on next. It'd be nice. Hey, Dark, go on.
Yeah, for sure.
Or David, go on. David Paciano.
Yeah.
He's good. He was a good one to talk about it too. But okay, I'm gonna click buttons here and end it all for us. Wait, there's a way to do it. So yeah, well, thanks everybody for joining me, even though I